Welcome to the course on endangered handicrafts and their documenting via usage of new digital technologies. Module 1 explores endangered handicrafts and their documentation using new digital technologies. This lesson focuses on understanding the cultural and historical significance of handicrafts. Traditional crafts are a topic that has always attracted scientific interest among researchers of cultural heritage. Studies trace their emergence and development to the present day, when it is extremely important to preserve them. When documenting craft traditions and practices, the main criterion should be their accurate presentation based on primary sources. Only genuine knowledge of traditional crafts will spark interest in craftsmanship among the younger generation and contribute to the much-needed continuity. Handicrafts represent one of the oldest forms of human creativity. They carry within them the story of civilizations, traditions, and identity. Each crafted object is not only a utilitarian item but also a symbol of the time, environment, and community that created it. Craftsmanship is one of the oldest human activities. Initially, the development of crafts was primarily linked to the practical needs of the population. The specific purpose and function of a given manufactured item requires a specific material, technique, and decoration, and the craftsman chooses them purposefully. Another feature of these products is their strength and durability. They must be long-lasting, if possible eternal. Even the most delicate handicrafts, jewelry and embroidery are subject to this aspiration. They also bear their own national character, being distinctive and recognizable despite the influences arising from various historical and economic circumstances. This is true for weaving, embroidery, wood carving, pottery, goldsmithing, etc. Crafts are part of the history, traditions, and identity of the specific village for which they are characteristic. Cultural significance of handicrafts lies in their ability to connect people with their history and ancestors. Traditional crafts often emerge from rituals, beliefs, and social practices that define communities, shaping their collective identity. Traditional crafts are closely linked to people's way of life. They have created objects that are extremely durable over time. Made primarily for practical purposes, they are sturdy, high quality, but also unique. This explains their timelessness. They are part of everyday life, but they also reveal our ancestors' ideas of beauty. Because of their symbolic significance, crafts are part of the culture of communities. The characteristics of traditional culture, beliefs, customs, and rituals can have a significant impact on the development of a particular craft in a given locality. The secrets of the craft were passed down from father to son, from master to apprentice. The transmission itself is part of the tradition and took place according to custom. Historical value of crafts comes from their continuous evolution. The use of local materials, traditional techniques, and design motifs reflects historical trade routes, resource availability, and intercultural exchange. Each region has its own specific characteristics, which influence the development of certain crafts that become most typical and representative of that region. If a region has abundant forest resources and, therefore, timber, woodworking crafts develop barrel making, cart making, window frame making, wood turning, saddlery, the manufacture of wooden household items, etc. Where there is high-quality clay in sufficient quantities, pottery has developed since ancient times. Another issue is that although pottery is one of the most widespread crafts in the world, ceramic utensils are not the same everywhere. They differ in shape, purpose, and decoration depending on the location. Crafts are an important element of intangible cultural heritage. UNESCO highlights that craftsmanship is one of the key domains of living heritage, transmitted from generation to generation, providing communities with a sense of identity and continuity. According to the Convention for the Safeguarding of the Intangible Cultural Heritage, adopted on October 17, 2003, in Paris by UNESCO, preservation means the implementation of measures to ensure the viability of the intangible cultural heritage, including its identification, documentation, research, conservation, development, promotion, and transmission, primarily through formal and informal education, as well as the revitalization of the various aspects of this heritage. One of the areas of intangible cultural heritage is specifically mentioned as knowledge and skills related to traditional crafts. Many handicrafts also reflect the socio-economic structures of their times, from rural cottage industries to urban artisan guilds. Understanding these patterns reveals how societies organized production, trade, and learning across centuries. In traditional society, craftsmen were held in high esteem. It was understood that mastery was not limited to hard work, but also required talent. The system that existed in Bulgaria, 3 stages in learning the craft, ensured continuity. Each subsequent level demonstrated increasing knowledge, skills, and experience. The first and lowest level was that of apprentice. Apprentices had only basic knowledge and skills and worked under the direct supervision of a master. They worked and learned for several years. The next level was journeyman, and the highest was master. As early as the 19th century, all urban centers had distinct guilds whose livelihood was craft production. All craftsmen were united in associations by trade, esnaf in Bulgarian. They had their own statutes, held regular meetings, and maintained funds to support their colleagues, schools, and other public needs. The craft guild was headed by the most educated, respected, and experienced of the masters, who enjoyed a good reputation both in the community and with the local authorities. The guild strictly monitored compliance with the rules laid down in the statutes governing relations between masters, apprentices, journeymen, and customers, and determined penalties for violations, unfair competition, and disregard for morals and customs. The guild awarded journeymen the title of master after they have had successfully passed an exam. In addition, it discussed and planned the development and scale of craft production for the next year or two, in line with market conditions. The symbolic meanings of handcrafted objects extend beyond their physical form. For instance, woven patterns, pottery symbols, or embroidery motifs often represent fertility, nature, or spiritual protection. Along with practicality and purposefulness, there is the beauty of objects, form, ornamentation, and, of course, their symbolism. Our ancestors believed in the magical properties of plant and zoomorphic images. Geometric symbols also carried meaning. Embroidery and jewels became amulets. Women felt protected by the symbols embroidered on their clothes and the jewelry they wore. In addition to their decorative purpose, the jewelry also had a magical and symbolic function to protect against evil, to bring health and fertility, and to attract good luck. The creation of handcrafted objects also served as a means of storytelling and memory preservation, recording community experiences and transmitting them visually through patterns, forms, and techniques. It is important to perceive traditional crafts in all their complexity and multi-layered nature, always depending on the context. They are identified not only with the specific objects created and the knowledge of the technology and the successive stages of their manufacture, which comes from the past. In a more general sense, they are the inherited knowledge and experience of the community. When studying endangered crafts, it is crucial to recognize that their value extends beyond aesthetics or function. They are living archives of collective memory and cultural diversity. They preserve the traditions of everyday life and the spirit of previous eras, providing information about the economic needs and technical skills and abilities of our ancestors. Nowadays, with technological advances, some of them have changed, while others no longer exist or are disappearing. Some examples from Bulgaria are the preparation of raw cotton by hand to create cotton yarn, creation of goat yarn textile items, carriage making, saddlery, etc. One reason is the depopulation of villages and small towns where craftsmen used to work. If their knowledge and skills are not passed on to younger generations, the tradition will be lost. It is unacceptable for crafts to become a disappearing cultural heritage. Digitizing them is a way to make them known, studied, and preserved. It is an opportunity for their protection and development. This understanding forms the foundation for efforts to digitally document and safeguard these traditions for future generations. In this way, old crafts will have their place not only as memories, as stories presented in museum exhibits, but as necessary accumulated and transmitted experience, not only creative but also life experience, part of knowledge and understanding of the world. Thank you for your attention. Please proceed to the next lesson, which will explore types and contexts of endangered handicrafts.